Hey everyone, thanks for joining the video this evening on Bitcoin. We're basically tracking the close here. It's 2 minutes to the daily close today. I'm going to talk a little bit about what the daily close is going to end up looking like and kind of talk about what happened today. But before I get started, of course, not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. Um, and you're responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your own research. I'm just here to give my opinion on the market. And we are interested in growing a group of like-minded individuals. And so we have a free-to-use Discord server. Just throw in a comment, and I can get you an invite to that, so you can be part of our community. All right, so let's get right into it here. So I did a video earlier talking about this risky trade. Again, I did say that this trade would be risky because we had retraced so much of this move, and we were not able to close above that, and that was at 7,500. We tried a few times, but on an hourly, we were never able to just quite get there. And then, of course, we were talking about, the entry being right down here about 74.40 or so, and then having the stop loss. I, gave myself a pretty wide margin. It was about a 1% loss for this trade. If you were trading on illiquid exchanges, more than likely you had a pretty significant amount of slippage on there. But of course, the big play was to be had down here. And then up here, this is where I was talking about smart money down here, and then dumb money up here. And then now, it turns out that happened a lot faster than I expected to. We only stayed up there for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, 6.5 hours or so, and then we were done. And we actually ended up coming all the way back down here. And so now what I'm interested in, and I don't usually like doing this, but I'm going to move myself down to a 15-minute chart and take a look at a few things here. All right, so what I can see happening down here, we do appear to be creating a little bit of a flag. I'm going to remove this P&L because it is long and gone. I'm going to get rid of this channel, and I'm also going to get rid of the projection that I originally had. I was talking earlier today that I still think we're going down to 5,800. That was, and actually let me just undo this here real quick, just so that I can show this here. Although I did have a bias in the short term that we could go higher, we could go to 8,400. We had a good rejection there, but ultimately, and this is still there from this morning. I've got my targets set down here at 5,800. I've been talking about that for a long time. And my bias that we could go up, the probability after the move down really diminishes that probability that we could see prices as high as 7,900 to 8,400 again in the short term. I do think after this rejection here, this looks like we did an A, we did a B, maybe this is an ABC into a B, which, I don't want to say that we can go back up to 7,900 because I think the probability is much lower now. I think our probability that we're going to come back down here and retest 6,500 is much greater than the thought that we're going to go up to 8,400. I think the probability says we will come down here first, and that we may not go back up to 8,400 for quite some time. Just this rejection wick that we had here was just not too convincing, which is why the long play here at 74.40 or wherever that was, the probability was lower for that one to be successful, and it turns out it was unsuccessful. So after that push down, I'm taking a look at all of the Stokes here. And I've recently made some changes to my stochastic indicator that I've got. I'm going to move down to a 1 hour time frame, and with all of the changes, my TradingView does load a little bit slower than it did before, because what I've actually got down here, and we're just going to kind of wait for this to load, and we're going to take a look at it. So what we have after this move down, we have the hourly. All of these stochastics are still pointing that we have a little more downside to go. After that move up, we kind of topped out a little bit. The 1 hour and the 2 hour were above 50. But then we rolled over. Of course, we had a big move down. Now, a lot of these other moving averages, not moving averages, all of these other stochastic measurements, This goes from a 1 hour to a 2 hour to a 3 hour to a 4 hour to a 6 hour and a 12 hour time frame. All of these are now pointing in the downwards direction, including the 6 hour, which is this one that's aqua right here. That is also just recently crossing down as well on the 6 hour time frame. So all of these things are in confluence with each other that we are going to be moving to the downside. And if I go ahead and kind of zoom in on this a little bit more to make it a little clearer, you can see all of these, the 3 hour, the 2 hour, the 6 hours crossing. Of course, the 6 hour has a little ways to go before it confirms, but all of these stochastics are pointing now to the downside. The hourly, which is this green one, the one that's in lime, that one crossed obviously when we had this move down here. But nonetheless, they are all pointing in the downward direction, and this 6 hour is also pointing down as of late. So as of this candle right here, we do look like we are going to start to make another move down. So now the question is, what do I do? That's what a lot of people are questioning, like what's going on. We came all the way down here and then we had a crazy move up. Okay, then we came up here. I was like, all right, well we're going to keep going up, right? And so people were buying in this range. And just full disclosure, I did have I had a low leveraged long position, and and I got stopped out with with a decent amount of slippage. It happened so fast. And nonetheless, I'm out of the position now, and I do think that we are going to go a little bit lower here. I really do. I think we're going to come, at least back down to 7,000. I was talking, a lot over the last few days that, we're going to come down here and hit 7,000. We're going to come down, we're going to hit 7,000. Well, now I think that this move down is going to go a little bit deeper. I do think probably 6,800 to 6,900 is more likely since hours have passed by. Let me go to my my BitMEX chart, because this is the one that has basically the channel that I was looking at. We got rejected and we were contained inside of the channel here. We still have this support level which held for just a little bit, and then we fell through it. This is strongly reminiscent of what happened way back up when we were up at like 90, 200. This right here is very familiar with what happened today. We had a move where we moved up above a certain point. At this point, it was above 9,000, and then we fell and we retraced more than where we started. Now, we haven't quite done that yet, but we went up above this support line that we had drawn out, and then we have fallen below. So it's very similar. That move is very similar. But nonetheless, we are back down here, and as we work through this, we're going to be kind of looking to see what kind of a flag we're going to be forming here. If we don't start creating new highs and staying above new highs, if we don't start closing hourlies, and in this case right now we're talking about hourlies above, I'd say 72.15 up to this level right here, which is at about 72.50. If we can't close an hourly above 72.50, then we're kind of in trouble for the bullish case for the month of December. So now at this point, I'm going to be a little more conservative. I'm going to say I would only consider taking a long position if we can go up and retrace to 72.50 and then move up here. I would not recommend taking a long position just yet, especially after this big sell-off. I would be very careful about taking a long position. What we had up here, we had a retest of support and then we failed it. Now we're back down here in this consolidation range, same range that we were at back over here where we moved up, and now we are finding this as our newfound resistance. So we have to take a look at that, and we have to acknowledge that that resistance level is there, and it's going to be right here, right in between these two resistance levels that I pointed out. So right here at 72.30 is going to be pretty interesting for us to to need to break up above that and hold above that on an hourly. So I would just I wouldn't jump into anything right away. If anything, I would just wait to see for a confirmation on a push up and a retest of that. Opening a short in this area is probably okay if you do low leverage. So I'm talking like 0 0.5 or 1x leverage on a short position on there. Nonetheless, just tethering out at about 72.50 or so is likely going to, likely going to work out over time. We had a lot of we did have a lot of liquidity down here that got tapped. So you can tell that this was bought up twice, right? So on a 15-minute candle, we got this bought up, we got this bought up, and we're still testing this. So, likely we're going to be flagging here for a little bit. We're going to wait to see what happens. If all of these stochastics start to work themselves down into the oversold territory, and we get a lot of confluence down there, maybe we get some bullish divergence on some lower time frames, then I might be considering taking a long position. But as of right now, I'm not really liking anything. I wouldn't say take a short position down here. I wouldn't say take a long position down here. My opinion, the long position is long gone and the short position is long gone. And so at this point, we just have to kind of wait and see what happens next. And there's nothing wrong with sitting and waiting. If you want to sit and wait in tether, there's really nothing wrong with that either. So I would just kind of wait and see what happens. I'm going to be doing a couple other small short videos. I know this one was longer than I kind of wanted it to be. I'm going to be doing a couple videos here in just a little bit on VeChain, also on Chainlink, maybe taking a look at Cardano as well to see what that trade looks like. Again, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to pop in the Discord and ask away. Otherwise, wherever you are in the world, hopefully you're having a really great day.